an ancient thing, you know, or go back to 1917, which was so bad.
1918. And an ancient thing. Listen to this. Dude, SARS, MERS,
It sounds like
fucking tuberculosis. The fuck is wrong with you?
an ancient thing, you know, or go back to 1917, which was so bad. But nobody thought it was going to happen.
Nobody thought it was going to happen. Let's see. No one thought, let's see. Pandemic response team. No one thought there would ever be a pandemic, especially not like the one that was in 1917, which there wasn't one, so why would they think there was? Let's see. Nobody thought there would ever be a pandemic. Why would you have to gut a system that never existed at all?
We got into gear, and then, of course...
Yeah, when you got into gear, after you dismantled the vehicle and had to put it back together?
The FDA, and I forced them, just sheer will, and I was nasty to them, too, because they're a bunch of bureaucrats. I forced them. Look how long it takes them to get everything approved. But I forced
all those fucking safety regs.
You get a vaccine done. Now, you have a lot of, you know, people feel differently about vaccines, and I think mandates are terrible, and I think giving it to young kids are terrible. I think they have to go to...
Giving it to young kids are terrible? That's what you're saying? So you didn't vaccinate your kids? So Eric and Don Jr. and Ivanka and Tiffany weren't vaccinated when they were kids? They didn't get the whooping cough vaccine? They didn't get all the vaccines they need to go to elementary school or kindergarten? They didn't? No?
They got to get there. You look at other countries where Germany, where they start in school, and other countries where they start in school, and there's like no incidence of anything. But we have a whole different kind of a mindset. I think we did.
There's no incidence of anything in German school starting? What the fuck is he talking about?
Phenomenal job on the China virus, except for one thing, public relations. But no matter what you did, remember for a while I was doing a news conference every day, and people love the news conference.
Yeah, the whole light bulb up your ass, pour bleach down your throat, see what works. You know, they're going to check it out very strongly.
Show on television, just about, right?
Wait, you mean Mr. Cuomo's wasn't?
Yeah. The most watched show on television. Yeah, we were in a massive disease spike, and people were hoping to hear some information that would keep them from dying. And when you weren't on, sometimes they did.
How did
he got an Emmy for?
How did they took
they took it back last week?
So anyway, they did take
they took the Emmy back. I have a couple. I'll give him one.
So here's the thing. So we got the word out, but the media is fake. They just don't want to report it the way it is. We did a great.
They ran it uninterrupted.
In addition, we report all of our COVID at a level that nobody in the world does. If somebody's dying of a heart attack and dying of cancer, and they're somewhere close to being somebody with COVID, they put it down as COVID. Because
no, they do not. They certainly do. What the fuck? They had a heart attack, but I think somebody's got COVID next door. Let's just mark it up as COVID. And I'm sorry, this is how you ran the fucking country? What are you talking about?
Or not, the doctors get more money. Yeah. You know that, right?
Why would they get more money? The vaccine is free. How do they get more money? They get more patience with you. This is the same storyline they talk about with like AIDS in Africa. That if somebody has any number of other diseases, if you say it's HIV, you get, you know, NGO funding and government funding. So the idea was that they would pad the AIDS numbers in Africa to get that funding, right? He's just taking that piece of his brain that kind of remembers that idea and overlaying it onto COVID, except during COVID, he was fucking president in the beginning. So who was doing this? Who in your, like, was there anybody? They did, they did daily press briefings. Nobody thought to go, we got some numbers from Illinois. And, anybody who dies in Illinois, they're calling it COVID these days. I mean, a bunch of shit. Like, this is, and so while you were president, the CDC was just padding numbers, and you had no say or no way of looking into it. And you seem to think you should be in charge of shit.
Clarify that, because that has upset me and I think millions of Americans for the last 18 months.
Yeah. I mean, more so than the 600,000 deaths.
623,000 death toll. Yeah. And the lovely, and we'll get to CNN in a minute in the fake news, their lovely death ticker they had up in the last 18 months, scaring the bejesus out of American citizens.
Yeah. Trying to get them to wear masks and get vaccinated so they don't die. And also showing them the actual number.
I think to me is treasonous, but that's another.
Posting the death toll from COVID is treasonous. This is, by the way, from an alleged newsman. Okay. How in the fuck? So facts are treason. Okay, right. Well, it's on brand. I will give them that.
Story for another day with you.
Well, they did have it, by the way, but
it's not 623, is it? Because it died with and died from.
And by the way, if you look at
it died with and died from. I mean, obviously, if they didn't have it, they wouldn't have died from the other shit they had when they died. They might have lived a couple more months or a couple more years, but I mean, they had one foot out the door, anyways. I mean, who the fuck needs Grandpa?
His real numbers, and if you look at other real numbers, and if you look at India's real numbers, there's more, yeah, but not because they're underreporting for bravado. That's China. India's doing it because they do not have the reach to see. They don't have the ability to test and see who died. They're just going by excess death. That's everything. If you're in the same vicinity as somebody with COVID and you die because your heart gave out,
right? You
die of COVID.
Thank you for
No, you don't. First of all, that's not true. And you're just repeating what he just said. This is like watching shit hypnosis.
And everyone knows
he just said that, and Trump was like, I heard that if you have a heart attack near someone with COVID, they call it COVID. Yeah, you just heard it from him.
I hate to say
Imagine having a brain that fucking porous.
But we have an evil, corrupt media. It's corrupt as can be. And I never really figured out why. You know, what's bad about having a strong military? What's bad about having good education? What's bad? All these different things that we could talk about endlessly.
Apparently not, because you just kind of brush over them and you just go, I have a lot of money, I threw it at that problem. And it wasn't my money, it was taxpayer money, but I'll
largely corrupt. You guys are amazing.
You guys would never post how many people have died from something. Like, let's say a ISIS K bomber went off. You would never post, the names of our soldiers and who they are, and and who was injured or whatever. It's morose, like scaring the country into maybe not leaving Afghanistan, for example, which is would be treasonous according to me. Where's my satire button? I kind of need my satire button. Hold on 1 second. I'm going to get in trouble. Let's see. 1 second. There we go. Yeah.
What?
Yeah, there we go. Finally. Just to cover in case.
Far better. I have to tell you this, Dave. OAN, your numbers are far better than anybody knows. They don't do the Nielsen on your network.
They don't do the Nielsen? You mean the company that Rupert Murdoch purchased and moved overseas, and then magically Fox started outperforming everyone?
So many people are watching what you're doing. The election fraud of 2020 is the single biggest thing they want to watch, and other networks don't.
Yeah, this is your election fraud-arama outlet.
it on because they're afraid to put it on because they've been silenced.
We don't like being part of the system because the system is corrupt as hell.
All I'm saying is your numbers, any numbers that you see, and you don't see those numbers. So
no, because posting those numbers would be treason.
People are watching OAN.
We'll get to media in a second. I want to say on COVID just real quick because I had some viewers.
Yeah. Thanks for the rusty trombone, but I don't need to hear it, Mr. President. I'm going to run as a MAGA candidate in 2024 if you don't.
Messages in to me to ask you, I'll paraphrase what they were asking. You just mentioned that you are all for personal choice when it comes to the vaccine for adults. You don't believe kids should take it. That's where I'm at. It should be a choice, right? And as far as the mask mandates and the...
Yeah, it can be a choice, but other people have the right to make a choice, especially in large groups or in private industry, whether or not they let people who have made the choice not to in the fucking building.
Lockdowns, some of these governors from Whitmer to Cuomo to Newsom, what they did to their states over the last 18 months.
What they did? What they did? I mean, since it's close to my heart, and let's see, surplus taxes up. There you go. I mean, this is a long. This is a long. What? I'm sorry. What did Newsom do? Sorry, he What it happened with what? With a 76. Can I just, for the record, Gavin Newsom, $76 billion surplus. California. That's almost a half a day in Afghanistan California could pay for. Aided by an astonishing nearly $76 billion budget surplus, California Governor Gavin Newsom on Monday proposed tax rebates of $1,100 for millions of households, more than $7 billion to help people affected by the pandemic to cover rent and utilities. Direct stimulus checks are going into people's pockets and direct relief. That's meaningful, Newsom said. This is a long time ago. This is May 2021. And I have one question. Can you guys just not make it so easy for me to dunk my nuts on your forehead? Can you please?
Ridiculous.
Yeah, I mean, make it sporting, yeah? Make it sporting, at least.
States are actually doing worse. It's amazing. The lockdown states have done essentially worse than states that...
Essentially, except for the non-lockdown states are overrun with Delta right now, and you're a moron.
Lockdown. Now, I have to make one statement, though. I am extremely...
Oh, yeah. OAN's got great ratings, but flies in the set.
Proud of what I've done, because I got the FDA to do something that would have taken them 5 years. I got it done in less than 9 months, and we got it out.
Yes, and that is the primary reason why a lot of your supporters will not take anything that came out of Operation Fart Steed.
Captain's log.
Bought billions and everything else. At the same time, freedom and choice and all of those things you have to have. You can't force...
You can't force people to do it, but you also can't force people to let people in their building that haven't been vaccinated either. And by the way, what the fuck is that on the top of your head? Just saying.
To do it. I also think that Biden's been a very bad seller. I was not having any problem. You know, we were doing millions of vaccinations. Millions. We were doing phenomenally.
Yeah, it was all Democrats.
He came in, and people don't trust him. That's why they...
No, your people don't trust him or you.
Not getting the vaccine. People don't trust him. But I believe without it...
Maybe if you snorted it. Maybe it's not an injection. Maybe your people are just wusses and they're scared of needles.
Would have had another Spanish flu. 1917 killed almost 100...
1918.
People. I think we would have... And this is worldwide. I'm talking about worldwide. But at the same time, you have people that for good reason, for their reasons, they don't want to have it. I don't think you should be...
Well, no, for their reasons, sure. Good reasons, no.
...them to have it.
You think it's safe if people want to do it? Adults, other than that, you should have the choice. My question to you on finishing up this line.
Thanks, by the way, thanks, Bowles, for, Danny Bowles. Thanks for clearing up what he said and making it more concise and intelligible for him, because that's what a good interviewer does. Is when the person you're interviewing is a fucking dunce and talks out of both sides of his mouth and his ass at the same time, it's important to just kind of recap for your crowd.
Would be the media, Mr. Biden and Mrs. Harris, for months, to me, scared the American people, telling them they wouldn't trust a vaccine coming from Donald Trump.
That's right.
And the minute they take...
No, they said they would trust the scientists in the CDC if they said doing it. If he comes out and says it's okay, but they don't, no one was going to take it. And the opposite is also true. At this point, it does not seem to matter if Trump says take it and the CDC says take it. Alex Jones thinks he's a fucking moron, a dumbass, I think was the word. And none of his followers want to, like, his hardcore followers. He got booed at his own rally in Cullman.
Fraudulently, it's you better take it or else. It's now a forced vax. And your thoughts on the passports we're seeing in some of these cities?
I never understood when they came out, would you take it? I trust nothing given to us by Donald Trump. Then as soon as they took off, they said, oh, the vaccine's the greatest thing ever. It's the greatest thing. They had nothing to do with it. Remember, Biden in his speech said, and we will come up with a vaccine. Well, he got the vaccine 2 months before that. He got the vaccine on December 11th. Right. So it was 2 months before that. And I said, was that a...
So on December 11th, any concerns he had about your belief in it versus the CDC's had been put to bed. So your argument that people won't take it because they don't trust Biden when he took it is stupid. All right.
Meant a bad moment for him, or did he actually mean that? But they said we wouldn't trust anything from Trump. They did another very bad thing. When they paused Johnson & Johnson, they paused. You know, Johnson & Johnson is a great company, but it doesn't do as well as Pfizer with government. The people running Pfizer have a great relationship, let me put it that way, with government. You notice now they're coming in with boosters and this and that.
Yes.
Pfizer, what they did. And they came out and after me, and 2 days after the election was over, they announced we have a successful vaccine, 95%, all that. And I said, I think most people knew that. But remember this, the press made that.
No, there's actual dates. You wanted them to jump the date. They went, we tested in this date, we got these started, we will have it by this date. And he was like, bring it, just find it for 11,000 votes and 4 days for me.
Story in history, because it was after the election. If it had done 2 days before, and I think most people knew, and I was saying to everybody, we have it, but if it was done 2 days before, the press would have made it a very small story. They would have said, ho-hum, there's a vaccine, no big deal. Everybody knew it was going to happen.
Yeah, just like after the election, COVID was just going to disappear. There'd be no more lockdowns or masks.
I actually think that I like ivermectin. I don't know why anyone would take anything from the government. I've never felt better in my life in this particular situation. Tell him about only enter, Mr. President. Only enter. And ivermectin. I only take medicines I can find in a feed store. I've never felt better. Trump 2024. Sorry.
But because it was after the election, they made it a big story. So I never viewed that as a big deal. The theft and the dishonesty of the election was a very big deal. Well, but on the vaccine, when they made that such a big story, if it happened 2 or 3 days or a week before, you wouldn't have even read about it because the media...
No, you would have read about it.
So dishonest.
We're getting to that. I want to touch on the economy. You brought it up there briefly, and because prior to COVID, things were singing in this country. Let's be real. Yeah. We just talked about
greatest economy in history.
Exactly.
Yeah. One thing though. U.S. recession, February 2020. Now, obviously, no one in Trump's crowd is going to, he's dreamy. Go to your dreamy place. You're not going to like what I'm about to put on the screen. Don't do it. The United States economy officially entered a recession in February 2020. The committee that calls downturns announced on Monday, bringing the longest expansion on record to an end as the coronavirus pandemic caused economic activity to slow sharply. This is June 30th, by the way. The recession was not caused by a sharp slowing in February. There you go. Hey, how about this? It's official. The U.S. has been in a recession since February. A peak in monthly economic activity occurred in the U.S. economy in February 2020. NBER said, after which the economy began to fall amid stay-at-home orders and business closures. Okay. Business cycle dating committee is determination of February 2020 peak in U.S. economic activity. We didn't have a shutdown till last week of March and beginning of April. It's official. The recession began in February. Best ever.
Kudos to you, Mr.
And
President.
did it a second time.
So
We built it a second time. We took care of COVID, which was a very tough time, and you had a lot of different views on it.
Yeah, we took care of it. It's not around anymore. Anybody who died past the 300,000 mark, I don't know what they were dying of. Probably a heart attack from being close to somebody with COVID.
And nobody really knew. We took care of COVID. I banned China from coming in. I banned
And you
Europe
banned China.
from coming in. And everybody said that's a terrible thing. They called me a racist, including Fauci was against it, everybody. Pelosi. Biden said I was xenophobic. I said, give me a definition of xenophobic, Joe. Do you remember?
It's xenophobic, and it's not his fault. You don't know what it means.
He had no idea what it meant, but they told him to say
He had no idea what it meant. Have you found out since? Did Dan tell you?
much these days.
He said I was a xenophobe. But what happened is I banned...
Which is, you hate the species in Alien, I think.
China. Then Fauci said 4 months later, I saved thousands of lives by doing that's true. Probably hundreds of thousands of lives.
During Operation Kiss Ass, where everybody realized that if you didn't blow smoke up Trump's ass all the time, he would deny PPE to states. He would slow the process. He would stomp around. He wouldn't sign the necessary documents. He'd be a complete toddler about the whole fucking thing. So everybody's like, "Oh my God, we're so lucky you're here. Oh my God." It's like the Twilight Zone episode with the little kid who everybody's afraid of.
Doing that. But I built the economy a second time. We had the most number of jobs, 160 million people working. And it was very interesting. I think you'd find this interesting.
Probably.
For the first time that I can remember, many, many years, because it really started with Bush
I don't remember. Does anybody?
But with Obama, the hatred in the country. There was tremendous hatred. We had an economy that was so strong. African American, Asian Americans, everybody, Hispanic Americans in particular, they were doing so great. Everybody was doing great. Women, men, with diploma, without diploma, MIT graduate, and somebody that didn't go to high school, everybody. Every group was the highest it ever was. We had 160 million jobs. People were calling me from the left to get together. First time ever. And then we had
Lindsey Graham.
Come in from China, and that stopped. But I'm telling you, the country can unify, but the success is going to be what unifies it. And the problem is, right now, we're at one of the lowest points we've ever been. We have inflation. We have gas prices that are going to go over $5. You know, I left, it was $1.87 a gallon. Now it's going to go over $5. That's bigger than any tax increase you can give. Every 50 cents, and that's many 50 cents, is bigger.
Yeah, especially the rapper. I've heard this. By the way, can you speak more about ivermectin? I've heard some good things. And by the way, first-time listener, second-time caller. Wait, second? Third, hold on. Third-time caller. Sorry, I just had to check. My bad.
The tax increase is small, really, for middle income people, small potatoes compared to that. But we have inflation, We have big
because
tax
there hasn't been a tax increase, so they don't know how to deal with it.
increases scheduled, massive. We have got ourselves a mess of a country.
Yeah, you touched on a few of those, and that's what I
Yeah,
wanted.
it's just a mess with the whole. There we go. Hold on. Yeah. Stocks setting record after record. That's weird. When was this? Probably 2 years ago. Oh, today. All right. Oh, that's interesting. I didn't even have any thought about that.
Get at with the Biden administration. He's out there, and this has to infuriate you, I know it does me, taking credit for jobs simply that are coming back because we were closed down.
They lost 3 million jobs in COVID. 4 million jobs this year alone in the Biden administration. Trump loses 3. Biden has 4. You can either admit that he created 1 million jobs in 7 months, or made the opportunity for people to hire more people as they were coming back, or you can enjoy my balls on your forehead.
He's buying the jobs.
And he's acting like, right,
He's
well, they're
buying the jobs. And he's buying the jobs for America.
people to stay home, you name it. When you look at what's happening with
the jobs, he's buying jobs, and that means paying people to stay home.
lumber up 600-700%, gas, as you said, we live in California, we're paying about $5 out there.
Right.
What are they doing wrong? And if we're in right now, what would you do differently?
Yeah, what would you do? What would you do differently on a material level? Give us some. I mean, like kind of like the Afghan plan, which you succinctly spilled out earlier, which was what was it? Oh yeah, we should have hit it really hard a few years ago and let it rot. And then May 1st was not really a date, and we were going to stay for at least a couple more years. You know, give us some like real details about what you would do about gas prices.
Starting this economy.
And by the way, not what you did or what you want people to think you did that you didn't do, but you're pretending you did. Don't go into that again. Tell us what you do right now.
Also, it's food. Food
prices.
Food is doubling, tripling, quadrupling. It's not just.
No, we're not Venezuela. Food is not doubling, tripling, and quadrupling.
When gasoline goes up, energy goes up, everything goes up. That's like, that's like a big key.
It's a big key.